My Stirling single, part 52. After fitting the handles to the injector water valves, I noticed a couple of problems with them, and the handles of the valves are quite small and tight and difficult to turn. I think that maybe I need to use the next size up. I try never to rush jobs, but this was an exception. I did rush this job a little bit, because on the day I made this video, I had to go to a medical centre for a blood test. I recorded some of the video before I went for the blood test and the rest when I got back. And just in case you're interested, it's nothing to do with steam engines, so really I shouldn't mention it, but the blood test was an HbA1c blood test that diabetics need to have regularly. What I'm doing in these clips is finding out where the position of the valve is, because I need to know this before I fit the handles. I made a mark with a black felt tip pen, as you can see, which shows me where the open part of the valve is, and thankfully, as I did expect, it's facing the outlet. Personally, when I bought these valves, I thought they were a bit small. When I mounted them in the tender and fitted the handles loosely, they looked okay, very much in scale, but I don't think the pipe is big enough. The pipework is a bit weird underneath this tender. The coil that you can see is to give a bit of flexibility to the pipe, which is the hand pump connection. All the other pipes, the water bypass and the injector pipes, will all be connected to the engine via some thin-walled silicone rubber tubing. Now I know where the outlet is pointing, I can fit the handles. For injector water valves, I would normally use pins to fit handles like this, but these are very small, so instead I'm going to use Loctite 603. These handles go down into the valve quite a long way, so when they're coated in Loctite 603, they're not going anywhere. Here I'm fitting one of them. I was really trying not to get any Loctite 603 in between the outer brass parts and the body of the valve. The first one looked okay. I can't see any 603 running down the side, but the second one wasn't quite so successful. When I returned from my blood test appointment, one of these was actually stuck. A small amount of Loctite 603 had gone down between the brass parts. I freed it off by using my small blowtorch, but I'm not happy with it. The one nearest the camera was fine, but the other one was a bit tight. By using WD-40 and a bit of heat, I freed off both of these. Now I need to rotate them fairly quickly to run them in and make them smooth. Necessity is the mother of invention, and I used a cutting disc to cut a slot in a piece of brass tubing. I then fitted the piece of tubing into the chuck of my small Bosch drill. Before rotating the handle at the lowest speed on the drill, I pumped some oil into the barrel of the valves through the outlet pipes. After a while I ran the drill a little bit faster and everything seemed to be okay. I could now rotate both of the handles quite easily by hand. I've just been on the phone to my friend Chris English at CME Engineering, and I've ordered some more valves, but these are one size up for 3/16 pipe. I think they'll be better. I'm not going to rush and fit them. I'm going to try these first. Sometimes I'm afraid to say that I do turn incompetence into an art form. When I silver soldered the union cones onto these pipes, they were all fine, apart from one. So now it's top tip time. First of all, don't fill up the holes in the pipe with silver solder. There is no alternative but to drill out the silver solder in the pipe, but don't try and do it with one large drill bit. It doesn't work, it will just get very hot. Use a small drill bit first and then work up maybe another couple of sizes until the hole matches the hole that's through the rest of the pipe. Do not under any circumstances try and drill the hole too big, otherwise when you put it together it's likely to break. This clip shows what I'm concerned about. I had to use an adapter union to go from a 5/16 by 32 union nut down to a 1/4 by 40, so that the system could use 4mm or 5/32 of an inch pipe, which is a bit small. This really is a fiddly job. I've been doing a lot of fiddly jobs lately. I hope everything evens out shortly. Here I'm making a final check of the continuity and water tightness of the valves by attaching a piece of silicone rubber and blowing into it. I'm really not worried about the slight movement of the pipes, because the silicone rubber tubing will be permanently attached at the tender end. and only pulled on and off the drag beam when required. I haven't mentioned this in the header of this video, but I'm going to clean up the buffer beam. Here I'm removing the draw hook. In this clip I'm removing the 2 nuts from the draw hook which hold it to the buffer beam. It was a bit tight in the slot, which is a good thing, so I tapped it very gently with a hammer to release it. Here I'm cleaning up the buffers first using some Scotch-Brite, which I often cut into small strips to make it easier to use. I cleaned up the buffers first, and then I cleaned up the buffer stocks with a larger piece of Scotch-Brite, followed by attacking the buffer beam. At this point it's not quite clean enough, so in the next episode I'll be doing a little more, as well as painting the buffer beam, the buffer stocks, and the long things that hang down, which are designed to knock things off the rails in advance of the wheels. And this concludes the episode. Stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.